Imagine your memento is sitting on the table next to the empty scrapbook binder.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala ashraf al-mursaleen.
In order to add your hello.py file to the scrapbook, you need to tell this is called staging your file. You can stage file specific.
It did not save, but that's fine.
Fantastic stuff. You just staged the Python file hello.py. Did you have your eye on the big wall? If you were paying attention, you saw that hello.py jumped from untracked files to staged files. The staged files column is often called Git staging area, or sometimes the index. Think of the staging area as a designated space on your tabletop, where you can arrange your mementos before you stick them into the scrapbook. Well, don't just stand around looking starry-eyed. Meet me over by your new staged file.
Okay, new file. New file is over here. Okay, so this is where we were, I think. We staged it. Git add hello.py. I could still click it. There's still things going on over here. Okay, so now it's plus. Alright, she's probably gonna make me do that anyway.
Just like before when hello.py was untracked, go ahead and...
Okay, yeah. Hello, blocky world.
Awesome stuff. You just inspected the staged file changes in hello.py.
Nice.
Quick tip. When inspecting files, newly added lines of code are highlighted in green. Next up, quick tip. Okay. Next up, it's time.
Staging areas where changes are marked. Okay, so in the staged area.
This is called committing your staged changes.
Is all the stuff that's about to be saved, but hasn't been saved yet.
Making a git commit is like inserting a finished page of mementos into the scrapbook.
Okay, that's what's up.
In other words, a commit store.
Commit, like Control S.
To commit your new file hello.py, use the git commit command as
first commit and then, okay, initial commit. Alright, git commit -m initial commit.
This is a big moment.
Let's go.
I'm officially proud of you forever. Since
Nice.
it's the first commit in this Git repo, it's called the initial commit.
That's gas. The guy who made this game, his name is Initial Commit. That's gas.
But hold up, you're not done yet. Come join me back on the walkway to learn more about.
I'm learning more about Initial Commit.
See this white block here?
Okay.
You'll notice this is a commit block, a visual represent. You'll notice it is labeled with 6 seemingly that's called a commit ID.
Okay. Nice.
Every commit gets its own unique ID generated by Git.
Nice.
This ID lets you refer back to a specific commit whenever you need to. Technically, the full commit ID is 40 characters long. But most of the time, the first 6 characters are enough to tell commits apart. Now, remember how you inspected that file block earlier? Well, you can inspect commit blocks the exact same way. After closing this message, just click on the commit.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So if I had like 10 staged files and then I commit all of the new changes, I'll be able to see all of them here. It would tell me. Okay, yeah, that's gas. MashaAllah.
When you inspect a commit, you'll see all the key info stored inside. This includes the full commit ID, the author, the date. Think of this as a descriptive stamp on the page of the scrapbook, letting you know who added them. At the bottom, you'll see a list of file names that change. As mentioned earlier, newly added lines of must be a bit of a relief knowing all of that. Now, you might be wondering about something. What are those green and blue blocks sitting on top of your white commit block? And you know, why aren't they falling on my head? The green one is a Git branch, so we call it a branch block. See how this one says main? That's the default branch name we set with the git config command back in level 2.
Okay.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll dive deeper into branches in just a bit. The blue block is Git's head pointer, usually just called head. For now, just remember the name. Git head can be a bit of a head scratcher, so we'll explore it fully in its own level later on. As for how all these blocks are floating in mid-air, I forgot after something bonked me on the head. Anyway, to witness the true power of branches in Git, you'll need to make a couple more commits. Come and meet me back on the stone platform to do just that.
Alright, so we're learning Python, basically, is what this is.
Alright then, let's create another Python. This is like choosing another memento to add to the next page. This time, you'll type a slightly different print state. Like before, click the Create New File option in the drop-down menu on the left and give it the name brew.
Okay, just brew.py. Okay, it already does that for me. Sit, coffee, and click save. All of this is
great
gas.
work. Now meet me over by the untracked. Welcome back. Remember when the file hello.py showed up in the untracked files column when you... Well now, you'll see that brew. Just like you told Git about hello.py using the git add command,
Brew is
you'll
just
do
chilling.
the same for brew.py.
I think after this I'm probably gonna go cook something. Like I think I'll chill until Maghrib. Okay, staging brew.py.
You arranged your second memento brew.py into the staging area. It's time to commit this little rascal. Head on over.
Oh yeah, she's with me like every step of the way. Git commit -m create brew.py.
2 commits down. A second page has been added to your scrapbook.
Okay, I'm with that.
Believe me when I say there's infinity more commits waiting for you. Come rejoin me on the wooden walkway.
Okay, so now we got 2. This one's branched off of main too, so I've changed main twice. Code changes, print, hello. This was the first one, and this is the new one, C50. Okay, yeah. Cool. Okay. Oh no, what have I done?
Isn't it glorious?
It's nice, it's nice.
Now that you've made a second commit, you can actually see how commits connect to each other. Your second commit is at the front, furthest to the left.
Okay.
This is where Git always places the newest commit.
So the newest commit.
And your first commit moved behind
to
it,
the front.
to the right.
First. Second. Third. Okay, yeah. So it's like stacked.
This means that when you add a new page into the scrapbook, it gets added at the front.
Yeah, okay.
As mentioned earlier, Git assigns each commit its own special ID. So the commit ID for the first commit hasn't changed. It's still exactly the same as when you made it. Each commit keeps its own ID forever. That way, you can always refer to a specific moment in your project's history. You'll also see an arrow pointing from the second commit back to the first. Just like you and me, every commit, except for the first one, has at least one parent. The very first commit in the repo has no parents because it started it all.
Okay.
By following the arrows from commit to commit, you can trace your project's full history over time. Seeing these 2 connected commits makes it much clearer that conceptually, your branch called main represents more than just a silly green block. You can think of a branch as a chain of linked commits. Also, someone as keen as yourself surely noticed that the main branch block and the head block both jumped from the first commit to the second. Whenever you
Okay.
create a new commit, Git moves the branch block and the head block to that new commit.
Git head moves. Main
In other
block
words,
moves to.
Git branches and head are just labels that point to specific commits, and they can jump around as needed.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't worry, you'll explore this idea more in level 7, branching and switching.
Cool.
Anyway, you've learned how to add new files to your Git repository. But what happens when you modify a file that's already being tracked?
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
you're in for a treat.
Let's
Come
get it.
meet me by the modified files column to find out. So let's go ahead and make a change to the code in your After closing this message, select the file name hello.py in the left drop-down menu.
We want to change this to chunky universe. Okay. Hello, chunky universe.
Excellent code editing.
Thanks.
Now you might have noticed something. The hello.py file you previously added has now shown up in the middle column, Modified Files. A modified file is like a memento that you previously added to the scrapbook, that you made a change to. Go ahead and click on the modified file and inspect it to check out what
Okay, so we changed this one. How did we select it though? Like, where did it come from? It was so fed. Okay, so we subtracted this block. We added this line. Okay.
Behold the true power of inspection. When inspecting a modified file, you'll see exactly what changed.
SubhanAllah.
Git shows the differences between the last committed version and the version you just edited. Remember, green lines are new lines you've added. And red lines are the ones you deleted. You may be thinking, but Willow dear, I didn't delete any lines. And that's true. But you changed a line. And the way Git sees it, changing a line is the same as deleting a line and adding a new one in its place.
Changing a line is like deleting it and replacing it with something new.
Now,
That makes
Git
sense.
actually has a name for this set of differences between versions.
A name.
It's called a diff.
Diff.
Now go ahead and run git add to stage your changes to hello.py.
Okay. Git add hello.py. So as I'm changing
Great job.
the file,
Head on over to staged files so you can commit
nothing
this
happens.
puppy.
And then I stage it. Okay, so maybe this comes into play later on when you got like 5 files and they're all connected. So if you've got like 2 functions in a main program and you design the functions over here and you call those functions in the main program. Okay, so you're over here, you make a change in the main program that requires you to go and edit both of these. So you're editing these, and in the meantime, as you're editing these, say you stage the main one, so you're playing with these, trying to figure out what's gonna make this work, and then that way if you mess up over here, you just pull the other one back, and then once you get it right, you can stage it. Okay, inshallah. I don't know, I'm just guessing, I don't know.
Since you're here, I'm going to rant a bit more about stage. The staged files column is often called Git staging area, or sometimes the index. It's where you gather up changes you want to include in your next commit. For example, maybe you and a team are working on a big programming project. You might have some changes that are finished, but others that aren't quite ready to share. By only staging the finished ones, you can commit and share those, without touching the messy stuff you're still working on. Anyway, let's commit your changes to hello.py with this command.
I wonder what the M is. Git commit dash M. Update hello.py. Okay, and that's just the name, right?
Nice! You're clearly committed.
Ha.
In case you're wondering, The M flag lets you add a commit message directly when you make a commit.
Okay, M is message.
A commit message is a short
there.
description that explains what the commit does. Writing clear, concise commit messages helps keep a clean history of code changes in your project. It makes it way easier for you and your teammates to understand what each change was for. Trust me, your team will. Now, head back to the wooden.
Okay, now let's check out the new commit. So me update hello. Okay, yeah. So it's kind of like a comment in the code, but it's a comment for the commit. So you need two comments. You need one for the code itself. You say, okay, I'm greeting the chunky universe. So this will print that. Then I say update hello.py. Okay, yeah, perfect, no problem.
Your branch called main now has 3 commits. That means you have 3 whole pages in your scrapbook. The newest commit is at the front, on the left, and the previous 2 commits trail behind it, to the right. Remember, each commit points back to its parent with an arrow. And once again, both the main branch block and the head block moved forward, left, to stay on top of the newest commit.
Cool.
This connected chain of code changes is called Git's commit history, or the commit graph.
I'm not quite sure like how we can get 3 stacks of commits like this, but we'll figure it out.
Wow!
Inshallah.
This has been To sum it up, you made 3 commits in your Git repo, which the first commit added a new, the second commit added another file, and the third commit updated the code in hello.py. Along the way, you learned that untracked files are brand new to Git. Modified files are tracked files with changes, and staged files are ready to commit. You also saw that commits have special IDs and commit messages that explain what each one does. You got a first look at Git branches and learned that green branch blocks and the blue head block are just fancy-sounding labels that point to commits.
Head and main are just fancy. They just point to the commits.
And finally, you learned how to inspect
Surely they
file
serve more
blocks
of a purpose
and commit
than that,
blocks
but
to view
we'll
their
see,
details in DEVLANDS. This might feel like a lot all at once, but not to fear. These abstract ideas will get clearer and clearer as we go. Speaking of moving on, see you in level 4.
Okay, cool. Mashallah. Everything seems great like that. Mashallah. Okay, so we got some stuff done here. That's good. But Maghrib's coming in soon, and I think level 4 is probably gonna take as long as, if not as long as level 3 did. I don't really want to play this all night, but now that I see how deep it actually goes, like I'm chilling. We can actually learn something here, inshallah. Alright. Walhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalam ala ashrafil mursaleen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ولا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك